2026, an election year, and there's so much at stake, not in terms of who's elected or Democrat, Republican, Independent, but making certain that you know how to vote, where to vote, and the importance of your vote and how it counts. Today we have with us what's called the Divine Nine. If you've not heard of them before, you don't want to touch that remote. You want to hear what the Divine Nine is doing to help get out the vote. And just in case you're wondering about the power of the Divine Nine, they represent more than 4 million people worldwide. So stay tuned and listen to what they have to say. Teresa Bingman, thank you for being with us today. And thank you for organizing the Divine Nine. You are the coordinator, organizer extraordinaire. You can make things happen where no one else can. So ARP thanks you for pulling them all together. I understand that's a very unique moment that they're not together that often, but you were able to get them together. What's the importance of this group and the history behind the Divine Nine and voting?
Thank you, Paula, and thank you for this opportunity. Yeah. Just a little history about the Divine Nine. The Divine Nine refers to a group of 9 Black Greek letter organizations founded beginning in 1906 by Alpha Phi Alpha on the campus of Cornell University, which of course is a predominantly white university. That was during a time when we were not able to join the established fraternities and sororities. And following the establishment in 1906, the other 8 followed. Very fortunate to be a member of Delta Sigma Theta, founded in 1913 on the campus of Howard University. So we do work collectively, nationally, and we even have chapters that are not only on campuses, but within communities, the alumni chapters and the alumni chapters that are in communities. And we can really boast about some of our members and the advancements that they have made, including my sorority sister, Shirley Chisholm, who ran for president, former Congresswoman, Kamala Harris, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Thurgood Marshall, former Supreme Court Justice, and the late Jesse Jackson, Omega Psi Phi. Nice. I could name one for each organization. In fact, I could name a whole list for each organization.
Absolutely. It's where leaders are born. That's what I always say. Leaders are part of some type of Divine Nine Greek organization generally. So thank you so much for pulling them together. Thank you so much for having them here today. And I want everyone just to not touch that remote because we're going to be talking with each member that's here. Thank you so much, Teresa.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So here are just a few of the members of the Divine Nine, and I am just so elated to have all of you with us. You know, we've done some collaborative work together, but I want people to know who you are and why 2026 election is so critical for people. I mean, again, we said earlier that you all represent millions of members throughout the country, and so you have an agenda, you have things that you'd like to see happen for the country. But let's talk a little bit first, Constance, about the history. How did Deltas even get involved with?
Well, our 22 founders were students at Howard University. And in January of 1913, their first social action effort was to participate in the Women's Suffrage March.
Wow.
So they marched in that march to get women the right to vote. And so social action and voting is in our DNA.
Absolutely.
And it is a legacy with us since 1913.
Wow.
We've been out here on the forefront trying to get people educated and engaged in the voting process. So
the fight continues. It continues. Every generation we have an obligation to make certain.
Absolutely. Here we are in 2026. How many years later?
Yeah.
And it is as critical now as it was in 1913.
And so as we talk about voting, and it's so important because some people think that they have been disenfranchised from voting. Jabari, talk a little bit about who can vote and who can't vote.
So talking about who can vote and who can't vote is pretty simple. Those of you over the age of 18 who aren't currently incarcerated, because that's one of the myths about voting, is that if you had legal issues, you can't vote, which isn't true. Even if you're awaiting trial, you're still eligible to vote. It's just if you're incarcerated, you can't vote. So
people who are currently incarcerated can't vote, but those who have been incarcerated are permitted to vote.
Yes, I would tell everyone to check their state's website, but overall, that is a big myth. And as long as your legal issues have been cleared up, you have regained your eligibility to vote.
And what would you say to people to encourage them to vote?
I would say get out there, identify the things that have disenfranchised your community, understand what it is that your ancestors have fought for, and take that opportunity to make your voice heard.
Absolutely. And we talk about the national election, state election, city elections, but city elections, community elections are equally as important. School elections, who's sitting on the school board, who's at city council members. So people need to pay attention. Who's stopping you and to give you a ticket, and what do they look like, and how are they going to treat you? That all makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Patrick, what issues would you share with people about the importance of voting?
I think it's critical to take voting very seriously. There's a lot of legislation and change that's happening or being attempted to happen at the federal level that impacts people's rights to vote. The president recently made a statement that he was going to require ID at polling places, which that's not law, as far as I understand, been mandated by Congress. And additionally, elections are run by each state, right? So again, as state regulations dictate, states run and govern the election. So I think these are really pressing issues that people need to be aware about, of which people need to be aware. And secondarily, there's a lot of changes happening in the federal government in terms of policies and procedures. You just eloquently talked about how your communities are being policed, policies that are being enforced, trade practices. These are all things that are codified now in some degree into law or being dictated by executive action that are driven by who you vote for or the lack of votes. So I think it's really critical that people pay attention to the policies, the person, the type of issues,
Absolutely.
and those leaders in their communities that are coming to the forefront and make their voice heard actively by showing up at the polling places and casting your ballot.
Absolutely. In the petitions, you mentioned petitions. There are so many petitions that are out there. People need to pay attention to what they're signing. And particularly as someone on the street at the mall, if you want to be a citizen or whatever, you've got to look at what the fine print says. So people need to stay aware and pay attention to what they're signing, what's involved, and know where and how to go and vote, where to go and how. And you can vote early in Michigan. You can vote early. You want to talk about the Jabari or
Yes, we are blessed as a state because we have early voting. Some states, I won't mention the names of them, but some states you only get one opportunity,
Right.
which is election day. But in Michigan, we start voting early, and you can vote, as he said, by absentee
Right.
ballot. So we are so fortunate here in Michigan.
Absolutely. Jabari, do you want to add to that?
Yep, and with that, I would also like to add that absentee ballot, but as well in Michigan, we have the federal postcard where our veterans or service members currently deployed overseas or stationed overseas get the opportunity to vote. So that's a very important thing, and that's something to take advantage of as well.
I can see that you are really making certain that people who don't think they can vote know that they can vote and appreciate that, whether it's those who've been incarcerated, whether it's those who are overseas. Everybody can vote unless there's some major issues other than incarceration, right?
Absolutely. I truly believe you only have a voice if you choose to use it.
Yes,
So
yeah,
you have to
absolutely.
get out and use our voice, which is our vote. So.
Absolutely. And it's important to continue to say that you're all nonpartisan. We are a nonprofit. So we're not saying vote this way or vote that way. What we're saying is know the issues, be informed.
Vote.
Pay attention, be informed, and then go vote. And so we're just trying to elevate and raise those issues, some of those issues that people think that they're not permitted or they don't know where to vote or that they can vote early. We're trying to raise those issues for people to make certain they know exactly what to do. And we're also trying to raise the history. We've got about 30 seconds for this group left, but we're going to talk to some more of our Divine Nine team members. We want to know the history about the importance. People died for us to be able to have this opportunity to vote.
Absolutely.
And that's important, yeah.
But we also want to don't forget to mention that this is a gubernatorial election
Yes.
in Michigan. We are electing a new governor.
Yes, yeah.
So
We want to make
yeah,
certain that we get out there and get that vote.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We want to talk to some more of your colleagues from across the state,
Yes.
so we'll continue this conversation with them. But
Thank
thank
you
you for
again.
what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you. Absolutely. So now we're talking to some more members of the Divine Nine. I am just so honored that they're all here in the studio with us today. We couldn't get them all on at the same time, but we're going to talk to every single one of them. Herb, thank you. First, tell us a little bit about some of the issues that are important to your organization.
The issues that are important to my organization are issues that are important at any kitchen table in America. If you're a young folk or a young person, The issue of student loan debt is important. If you're an older American, health care is an important issue, along with prescription drug prices. Other issues that the Sigmas are concerned about are wages. Are people being paid fairly, and are there career opportunities and jobs for them when they graduate?
Those are critical issues, like you said, kitchen table issues that will help. Every voter should know exactly what their candidate, how their candidate stands on those issues.
Exactly.
So it's very important. So tell us a little bit, Ebony, about some of the work that's going on. What are the Alphas doing to make certain, or the AKs doing to make certain that people understand where to go to vote and how to vote and all that?
Yes, the primary goal is spreading education. So candidate forums, getting candidates in front of voters, making sure what they stand for, what they want to do for their constituents is important. Also social media platforms, posting information about where to vote, how to vote, what time to vote, and the processes of getting out to vote. So social media, also doing lunch and learns during the lunch. Someone might be at work, can pop in and listen to some important information that they need to know about voting. And I think also being out in the community, churches, senior citizen homes, making sure that we connect with the people, handing them information and giving them information they need to make informed decisions when they go to vote.
Absolutely. And some people only look at one form of media to get their information, one station, one TV station, or one radio station. And there's so much more out there. They need to make certain that they are aware of everything that's going on. Are you all having these forums and doing that kind of work throughout the state?
I would say in our area, we definitely attend and go out to maybe parades or events that are happening in the community to help pass out that information. A lot of young folks are on social media, so we definitely want to connect with them, posting important information on social media. So there's so many avenues to connect with the community, and we try to hit all those points to make sure we get people out, and as many as we can get at a time.
Thank you for that. We're all on the same page. This is why the Divine Nine is here, ladies and gentlemen. We're all talking about get out the vote. We're not talking about how to vote or making certain you vote for this person or that person, but you need to know the issues, be informed, and get up and go vote. So what are some of the things that are going on? What are some of the ways that you're helping people to get out to vote, Angela?
The Zetas?
Yes.
Yes, we are looking at where the locations are for the drop boxes, for absentee ballots. When you do have your absentee ballot, there are signatures that have to go on that particular form. So we want to make sure that they know that they do have to sign the ballot, what location, know what county you're in, know where you need to go to vote at, and then try to provide assistance to individuals to get there, to get to the actual location where they need to be, whether or not they need assistance as far as transportation, child care, whatever assistance that we could provide, we're going to try to help the individual get there and make their vote count.
That's so critical, because you want to remove those barriers, any barriers at all. And another barrier that actually Patrick Connolly has shared with me is that even when you drop off, when you take your ballot to the mailbox or to a post office, it may not be processed that day, and the date on that ballot may be the next day, and you might miss the opportunity. So
Correct.
There are little things like that people aren't aware of, that all of us, all of the Divine Nine and AARP are working together to make certain that people know. Don't just drop it off and think, oh, I just made it, because it may not get processed until the next day or two. And so people need to know that. They need to be aware of not only who you want to vote for, but how you vote. And don't wait till the last minute. Michigan has early voting. Vote early. I wish I could say vote often, but that would not be legal. But vote early at any rate, and make certain that you get out and vote. Thank you so much for what you all do. We love partnering with you, collaborating with you to make certain that people get out and vote. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you can sense my excitement. We have all the members of Divine Nine here, and we're going to be talking to I won't say the last three, but another three members of the Divine Nine. Tell us, as we talk about voter engagement, voter education, getting out the vote, who are we talking, what membership, what population are you hoping to be able to encourage, inspire to get out to vote? Older people, young people, who are you trying to work with? Terry.
Yeah, we're trying to work with everybody, but in particular the African American community. For Alpha, we have a Voteless People, Hopeless People, which is a national program.
Say that again.
A Voteless People, Hopeless People.
Wow.
And we understand that
We
if
should
you're
get
voteless,
badges. Voteless, hopeless.
Voteless People, Hopeless People.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Okay.
So we want to be able to let people know and educate them about why it's important to vote. And we don't have our vote, we're hopeless to get around. So also breaking down all those barriers that come to voting. So we will promote that with young people as well as our senior citizens and older folks. We want everyone to come out to vote. But most importantly, we as a right, as African Americans, we didn't have the right to vote. And we need to not just let that go and make sure that we remember that people died, walked, and were beaten just so we had the opportunity to make our lives better.
Absolutely.
And we have a responsibility as citizens of America.
And you're doing some work with the homeless population as well?
We are doing some work with the homeless population and just helping them with understanding, where they need to go for housing and security, food insecurity with the Lansing Mobile Food Bank, and then also just with the new pods that are going out, working with those folks to understand that you can't vote if you don't have a place to live either.
Right.
So you have to have that address. So all those things that are barriers to people being able to do their constitutional right.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thanks.
Natavia, what's going on what are you all doing to help?
Well,
people
for
get
Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, we're really looking at 3 areas of focus. First of all, with voter education, next with voter registration, and then with voter mobilization. So it's important for us as an organization to make sure that we educate the members of our communities on the issues that are facing them. And when you ask Terry about who are we targeting our messages to, we really are targeting them to everyone.
Good.
Because we need to make sure that everyone knows that voting is a right, but it's also a right that you have to take seriously, and you
Right.
have to know and be educated and research what the issues are. That second tier, and as we talk about voter registration, we have to make sure that we get out the vote in terms of making sure that people are registered, but also making sure that people know what their rights are as a registered voter, because that's important as well. Many times you'll hear different messages and some disinformation, and you may not think you're eligible to vote, but you are. So we need to make sure that we do that. We need to work with our young people who are just about to make those promises to register to vote, or they're in high school and they're able to vote. We need to get those young voters. And then we also need to make sure that we mobilize people to the polls, because you can be registered, you can know the issues, but if you're not at that polling station,
Right.
if you don't know where you need to go, then all of that pre-work goes for naught.
Absolutely.
So we need to make sure that all 3 of those areas are addressed, and that is what Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is doing.
That's great. Bobby, what would you like to add to that? What's going on?
Well, with Iota Phi Theta, I will echo some of the sentiments that Terry and Natavia stated about trying to get everyone to vote and knowing their rights. What Natavia said is very important. I'm a criminal defense attorney, and a lot of people do have questions.
I hope I never need you.
Well, not for that. No.
Yeah, right.
But a lot of people do have questions. Am I eligible to vote? What are my rights? With voting, and we do focus a lot of times in our fraternity with younger members, because we are a younger fraternity. We've been around for 63 years. So we still have a living founder. We don't have a lot of older members. We have a lot of younger ones, most of them.
That's fantastic.
So we do focus on the members that may have never voted before. They don't even know how to vote or the process of how to vote, how to register, and making sure they register and get to the polls to vote.
Absolutely.
And for me, as an attorney, again, I tell them to focus a lot on the state and local elections, because that's when the real change happens.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times we forget, but those impact our communities, that the judges or city council,
Right.
Our
School
county
boards.
commissioners, school board, yes, absolutely. Policies that we vote on, referendums. So those things are super important on the state and local level. So we always try to get that information out as well.
I'm just so pleased to say that in Michigan, the older adults really, you can't win an election without older adults voting. I think it's like 58% of all votes cast were cast by those who are 50 and older. But also in Michigan, we were one of the states that had more young people voting than any other state in the country. I think it was like the second or third percentage. So the work you're doing is making a difference. Keep it up. Appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you weren't born into a wealthy family, how do you make certain that you have enough during your retirement years?
Well, you know, most of us, Paula, we're working stiffs, right? I mean, I started delivering newspapers at age 7, and that's how we did it. But the world has really changed. If you think about what you paid for your first house, your first car,
wow.
What did it cost to go to college, right? You look at any of those things now, it's 10 times as much, 20 times as much, okay? And one of the things that has also exploded in cost is long-term care. Now, it used to be that families would support that next generation.
Right.
What's happening today is the money that would support the next generation, and they need the support. They're trying to buy a house at $250,000. You know, you paid $50,000 for yours.
Right.
So did I for first house,
Yes,
right?
$28,000.
Well, there you go. Well, you can't start on less than $250,000. I mean, that's the way it is. But the family support isn't there because the cost of care has skyrocketed. That's where the money's going. So what if we're just regular folks, we want to support that next generation? Great. So let's get started thinking about, taking seriously the fact that it's long-term care that will break you. It's long-term care that's going to drain all those years of working. How do we address long-term care? And the answer is, just like Social Security, just like Medicare, you've already paid for this. With every paycheck you received, you contributed to a fund that pays for long-term care. The question is, how do we take advantage of that?
And we'll talk about that next. Thank you, David.
Great. Thank you.
If you don't have a will, what are the risks?
Well, I think it's important to know the state already has a plan in place for you if you don't have a will.
Oh.
So it's important that you take the time to understand what that plan is and then define for yourself what you would rather have happen.
We don't want the state planning what happens to our money, so what are the options?
Typically not. A will is a set of instructions for the probate court to follow. So that's how you declare to the state what you want to happen to real assets like your home, real property. A trust would be taking the control out of the probate court and leaving it directly to your heirs.
Can people create a trust on their own, or do they need to seek a financial advisor?
Absolutely, an attorney.
You need an attorney in order to create a trust.
Correct.
And then that has to be filed and submitted.
Trusts do not get filed. Trusts are private documents that avoid probate. A will is filed as a matter of public record.
And can you change, or should you look at changing your will every year, or is it once you have one, it's good forever unless you have some changes you want to make?
Documents created last as long as you need them to. Most folks, most clients, most individuals, their goals change, their lives change. Kids mature, kids change, they get divorced, grandchildren. So every period of time, you should consider changing or updating your wishes to be pertinent to where things are at today.
So regardless, bottom line, it's important to have a plan, and to have a plan that can be easily executed.
And is directly in correlation to what is most important to you.
And communicate that, right?
Absolutely. Where is the will located?
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much. Great advice.
CADA's regional mobility solutions can help seniors seize the day. Hear what riders and community leaders have to say about the value CADA brings to the lives of aging adults.
I think CADA is necessary for the community because, there's a lot of people that don't have transportation. Plus, it's good for the environment. I think CADA's doing a good job.
Oh, it's very important for somebody like me. I don't have a vehicle at the moment, and the transportation is a reliable source as far as helping me get to and from places where I need to go. It's very important.
Almost 70 years old, it's hard to walk, so I like taking the bus because walking is bad for me.
I've been riding it ever since I've been here, since 1994.
Being here at the CATA, being able to use the buses, gets you somewhere everywhere. They actually was nice enough to give me a bus pass that day, a 31-day bus pass, so I was blessed.
I'm with a polite time with the drivers and whatnot, and they're very helpful. And the girls out in the booth, if you have somewhere to go or you don't know where you're going, look it up for you and give you directions and where to get off at, which I think is really nice.
If we didn't have CATA, so we'd be using Uber or Lyft from place to place, which can be quite costly.
I depend on CATA. I have to. If we didn't have CATA, I don't know what we would do. This town needs CATA.
Yeah, it would be very, very frustrating without CATA, because, I mean, if we didn't have CATA, the people that needs CATA, they would be in really bad shape, because it's, how can we get around without CATA?
It's very important that I ride with them. Because of CATA, I can do that. I'm independent.
Hi, I'm Tracy Anderson with Impart Alliance at Michigan State University. Today I'm joined by Darlene Brown. Darlene is owner and operator of HCP Homes right here in Lansing. Darlene, tell me a little bit about HCP Homes and what it stands for and what you do day in and day out.
Thank you, Tracy, for having me. Yes, HCP Home stands for Hope, Compassion, and Peace. That is the kind of care that we provide our community and our individuals that live with us. We have a 6-bed, home, and we do everything from activities of daily living, meal preps, laundry, cleaning, and most of all, just keep our individuals safe.
How many direct care workers help provide support in the home? And tell me a little bit about how the operations and really like the day-to-day living happens.
So day to day, we provide a lot of encouragement, inspiration. I'm there primarily as the owner and operator, but I have like 3 staff members.
Okay, and can you tell me a little bit about your experience with Impart Alliance and our training program?
Oh, my experience with Impart Alliance training has been amazing. I love their training curriculum. They cover everything that we need to do with our ongoing training so we can provide better care for our individuals that we take care of.
And why is training so important?
Everyone specifically has different needs, and so being on top of our training encourage us to make sure that we're giving and providing the best care we can.
Absolutely. And having that consistent training, I would imagine, is important, which is one of the resources that Impart Alliance really works to stay on top of to help support direct care workers and folks like you who own agencies and businesses around direct care.
I agree. Yes.
Well, thank you, Darlene. We really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
A lot of good information that was shared today. Make certain that you take notes, that you share it with your friends and your family. And thanks for watching Real Possibilities.